Director's Take retrospective from BlizzCon 2023 from Aaron Keller. A little event happened 2 weeks ago, and I was lucky enough to be a part of it. And all of you were too. BlizzCon isn't just for those who attend the show in person. It's also a time where we get to connect with fans a lot around the world and show off more of the game than we normally do. And this year we ran an event in-game with a playable version of our just announced hero Maga. I'd like to run through the show. This is partially a recap, a correction to misunderstandings around the announcements we made, and a bit of sentimental journey. If you're not into that and just want the deets on Maga changes, skip to paragraph 3. Don't worry, I don't mind. Okay, dude. I wonder what things people didn't understand about it. I mean, I guess maybe I even missed some things. Okay, let's start with Clash. We announced our next game mode as well as one of the maps, Hanukkah? Was it Hanukkah? I thought it was Hanukkah when I heard it in person, but I might be wrong. Which will be part of the debut. Oh yeah, if you didn't see this, it's Hanamura reworked. Which will be part of its debut. Watching through some of the videos that people made off of our introduction to this mode, it was clear that I talked way too long about 2CP. But it also felt like there was some confusion over match length. This has been one of the most difficult parts of the mode to solve. Traditionally, 5CP game modes has edge cases. Traditionally 5CP game modes has edge cases where there was never a clear winner. Some games used a phase. Why is there a line through the D? Or used? Oh, maybe it was just supposed to be used. Some games use a phase. Okay. Some games use a phase like sudden death in order to rein in some games' length. We don't want to have matches that can go this long, so we've been experimenting with a scoring system, which we alluded to at BlizzCon, as well as an alternate where the match ends after a set amount of time, with the winner being decided by whoever is controlling more points on the map. I think okay, so overtime is so important in Overwatch. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like that would make people give up faster. You know, it's like, oh, just get this game over with type of thing. Like, we're just struggling and losing the entire time. But it's hard to visualize without actually getting my hands on the game mode, so I could be wrong. We're still iterating here, but our goal is to have a game mode that moves back and forth across the map and also enforces a clear time limit. Okay. Let's talk Maga. This hero is so cool. We heard so much love for his art, his over-the-top personality, and his gameplay kit. After the trial, we also heard feedback that he felt pretty weak. Our stats show him a bit on the average to weak side, with him underperforming even more at higher skill tiers. Yeah, that was about what I thought. We'd like Maga to feel strong at launch, so we're implementing a set of changes to his tuning at the start of Season 8. Okay. The goal will be to increase his survivability, make his damage against smaller targets a little more reliable, and reduce his damage output versus larger characters like tanks. That's very interesting. The only way I could see this being possible is through 3 things. 1, they make the bullets bigger, like the projectiles. 2, less downtime with reload, so either you don't have to reload as often, or the reloads are faster. And to compensate that, maybe they change it so he does less damage. Like the bullets do less damage per bullet, but he never has to reload type of thing. Slash the spread of using both guns at the same time might be tighter. That's the only things I could think of, but I like the way that they're viewing that, because at least in the Maga v Maga matchups, it just felt like who could explode the other tank faster. But versus the other tanks, like you either did nothing or you'd melt. So interesting. Okay, I like that. I think it's a good way to go. We're still a few weeks away from launch, so it's not that useful for me to go over the exact numbers. But here are the changes we were looking at so far. Oh, we are getting numbers. Okay. Replace a chunk of his health with armor. We're experimenting 150 internally. Okay. Reduce the size of heads hit volume. Okay. Increase the damage reduction on overrun. Originally, it was 30%. Or so increase the damage reduction, sorry. We're testing it at 50. Also, this can no longer be interrupted by a hack. Whoa. Okay, that is the big one. Honestly, I think 50 might be too high, but hey, safe side of strong. I'm totally down to try it. I think the magic number will end up being 40. I don't think it'll be 45. It could potentially become 45 like Arissa's. But we'll see. Increase the lifesteal of cardiac overdrive. That's good. I like that. There are quite a few changes to quite a few changes in flight for his weapons. We're testing different spreads and firing rates when using both guns simultaneously, as well as different damage, ammo, and fall-off numbers. We'll have more details on those when they solidify. Okay, you know what? I can't even complain. They're looking at the right stuff. They're looking at the right stuff. This is all very good. We'll give you one other thing, okay? I'll give you one thing. The pin, like the fucking charge slam thing, is very weird. I don't even care if you make the radius smaller. Just make it more consistent. Because when I was using it, when I hit people dead on, like as if I was pinning them on Rhine, you'd boop them up. So it was actually more advantageous to go slightly to the right or slightly to the left, because that would actually slam them to the ground. Because booping them up, one, didn't stun them. Two, it made them harder to hit. So that would be my thing that I would have them probably look at, you know. The MAUGA event was the first time we released a hero as a trial. It was true. I mean, there used to be PTR way back in the day, to be fair. But like into the live game, it was the first time. It was pretty cool. We think it was successful for a lot of reasons. We got a lot of great feedback from players, good data on the hero, and have enough time in advance to make a serious set of changes, as well as a really fun event for the game. We think that this could be a great template going forward, not only for heroes, but possibly for other large pieces of content. Interesting. Okay. During BlizzCon, we talked about our clarity of vision for the future of Overwatch. Did you feel that downshift? Heads up, this piece getting a little more philosophical before it gets a little more sentimental. Okay, fair enough. Overwatch is an intense and competitive multiplayer shooter. We have millions of players in our game every day enjoying it. And we'd like to not just provide more of that experience to let them... And we'd like not just to provide more of that experience to them, but also improve it. Okay, I like the way this is going. When I use the term competitive, I don't just mean playing ranked. Even quick play is demanding and sweaty. Yeah, but you're losing me a little bit, Aaron. That's true, but it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be as sweaty as it is, because it's... in my personal opinion, it makes it a lot less fun. And the okay, let's use Call of Duty for a sec. Call of Duty's argued about this for fucking years. And it's the argument between really strict matchmaking or skill-based matchmaking and lax skill-based matchmaking. And you have the more casual / lower ranked players that are like, oh, you high-level players just want to stomp on people. But that's not what it is. It's actually way worse than that. And this year's Call of Duty has gotten really bad with it, to the point where if you win 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games in a row, and you're playing with a couple friends, you can't get a game. Like you don't get a game for 10 minutes. And then when you get a game, you're actually playing on like EU servers, right? And it will put you against like the best EU players that are on at that time. Because like the game's like, okay, you've won too many games in a row, you must now lose. And it's like, I don't want to play on 170 ping at that point. And I'm not saying Overwatch does that, but like, I don't want to play on 170 ping just to force a loss for the game to be happy. Like, it's stupid. And Overwatch does kind of do that, where like, I even notice it when I play quick play every once in a while. If I win too many quick play games in a row, I just run into like 4 or 5 GM players that are warming up for comp, and they just smoke us. We just get like 2-minute full capped, and I'm like, all right, that was ass. So I hear you. I don't like it though, and I think that is not the best personally, but let's continue. That intensity and fast pace are inherent to most modes in our game, and we love that. At BlizzCon, we talked about an overhaul to our competitive system coming in Season 9, with other updates such as a wider grouping restrictions coming in subsequent seasons. Yes, okay, so the whole point of what I was just trying to make, like, let's make it actually, like, somewhat constructive. The reason why I was talking about, like, the reason why I don't like quick play being so fucking sweaty all the time is because that's what comp should be. And when comp does eventually get reworked, that's what it should be, the game mode. Comp should be the sweaty game mode. Quick play should be the less sweaty game mode. Yeah, you can't keep people from counter swapping, whatever, but, like, if you saw my quick play queues the other day for like Roadhog, I was getting like 13-minute queues to then get up against obviously like other GM players in quick play all day. And I'm like, why am I waiting so long for a quick play game just to play other GM players? Like, just throw me in a fucking random game. Who cares? I just want to run around and hog and fucking pull things, you know? So once ranked is better, it should be not as sweaty anymore. Like we should lax some of the stuff on that side and then encourage people to play more ranked, because then ranked will be good, right? We're also working on updates to improve the experience in other parts of the game. For example, we're looking at ways of reducing the number of people leaving or sabotaging matches. Since the start of Season 7, the leaver rate for quick play is down almost 20% in some game modes. That is insane. I wonder if there's been a big uptick of people throwing games to try to get them over with faster, because I've noticed a little bit. But 20% for that is insane. That is such a big difference. So, wow. We're also working on the way we backfill matches so players no longer enter a game with a few seconds left. That's good. Additionally, we're continually making improvements to our matchmaker, anti-toxicity, and anti-cheats efforts. Yo, this anti-cheat and anti-toxicity thing's been going crazy. Like recently, every time I get someone who's like hardcore, like saying some fucked up shit to like my teammates, me, other people on the enemy team, whatever, and I get a report out, like day or two later, I get the thank you for reporting. Like, this thing's working now all of a sudden, and man, I ain't gonna lie, that's a big dub. We're also excited about running some experiments aimed at making the game more enjoyable to play. For instance, what would happen if spawn times were drastically reduced? Looking for those to start in Season 8. Wait, so is this like the new quick play change where you spawn together, or like overall, like, spawns take too long? Because, like, whoa, that could be a big change. Like, if it goes from like 10 seconds to like 6 seconds, like, oh. Anyways, let's continue. I'm not against it though. At BlizzCon, our big announcements were focused on the core of our game. This isn't to say we aren't working to bring fun and novel modes and events to all of you. For example, we announced Hero Mastery Gauntlet at the show. We also celebrated our K-pop event during BlizzCon, which is great. We have so much more of this in the works. Some catered around PvP, some around PvE. What's that? Some both. And some of that might be a little hard to categorize. We're excited for these modes and events, but didn't talk about them as much. I don't want any of you to get the wrong idea here. We are still committed to events like this, but we want these to be a bit of a surprise and delight moment for our players. That's kind of the right call. And it's no offense to them, but like, the PvE is kind of not that good. I personally had a lot of fun doing the missions, but that's because I played with friends and I knew what we were getting into and we got into it. But it's not like what people originally envisioned the PvE was going to be. And like, if I went to queue the mission right now off stream so you couldn't stream snipe me, how long would it take me to get a game? Probably quite a while, I'd assume at this point. So, kind of a good call on them by like not hyping it up and just letting it like be like little surprise things, you know? So, one of the most emotionally satisfying parts for BlizzCon is talking to fans from around the world. That's true. A lot of you really love Overwatch as well as other Blizzard games, and we all gather together in Anaheim to celebrate that passion. Talking to all of you and hearing your stories plus puts so much of what we do in perspective. That was the one thing I didn't get to do. I didn't get to have to sit down and talk with Aaron. That was my one regret of BlizzCon. It's easy to get lost in the details of game development or the partially anonymous feedback we get online. Ain't that the damn truth? If you didn't see Karki's tweet yesterday, it was so funny. He was like, yeah, if this Roadhog thing has taught me anything, is that most people don't know what they want from tanks or this game. And I was like, damn, dude, that's so fucking true. Like, most people, when they get mad at my takes or whatever, especially tank balance stuff, they're like, Flats, you're so wrong. But they never give a reason on why. And when they do, it's the most outlandish shit, and then people don't take them serious. And I'm like, there's a reason for that. Anyways, but listening to a story about how two people met in Overwatch, got married, and are now expecting their first child is a different thing together. Yeah, it's honestly adorable. A mother who has never played our game flew in from Texas to bring her son to the convention. A couple who bonded through Overwatch got engaged at BlizzCon. Oh, I heard about that. This show left me and many others on the Overwatch team recharged, re-energized, and ready to dive back into the game and the universe we so love. It's a little ironic, but to me it makes total sense that a show that where we felt the love of our community is also the same show that reminded me why I make games in the first place. I'm so grateful to all of you, and I can only hope that this energy and passion that we put into our game can be enough of a thank you. Thanks for reading, and we'll see you in game. I always like these from Aaron. Aaron always does a really, really good job with these. Comp stuff looks good. I hope they take a look at the quick play thing later on, once comp is like reworked. But yeah, everything else looks pretty good.